Hi, I kind of wanted to use my first video to go over a topic that I did for an event earlier this year entitled Living on Purpose, and the topic I came from was purpose in your pain. So I hope that something I say brings a little bit of encouragement to maybe a situation or a struggle that you may be facing. Again, this is based off all of my experience and what helped me get through in certain tactics and mind things that just gave me the strength to keep on going. um, so some of the things I had jotted down from what we had went over that day was the greatest thing for me um, with 2018 was having an understanding that there's purpose in every bit of pain that I go through. So many people, we can go through a situation and not have an understanding why. And for anybody, when you are going through something and to you there seems like there's no logical reason you're going through it, it's so frustrating. I feel like it heightens the brokenness, it heightens the hurt, it heightens the frustration that you feel, and it makes the situation that's already bad even worse in your mind. So then that's when certain tormenting, certain depression, and those feelings of giving up, though that's when those were like heightened, in my life, through those situations. So that was the biggest thing for me, is coming to the conclusion like, okay, whatever I'm going through, no matter how bad it is, that in some way, shape, or form that there's a purpose and this can be turned for the good. That's the first thing I stuck onto. So then when I got that understanding, I'm like, I felt good for a little bit. No lie, I did feel good, but when you're still going through a situation, you're still wondering like, okay, there's a purpose, but what? So then that's when I found myself praying and asking God, like, all right, God, I'm praying and asking you to let up. I'm trying to figure out, is there something I said? Is there something I did to somebody? Or, is this karma coming back at me? Am I reaping what I'm sowing? In the sense of, I can't take this. Like, why is this all happening to me? Why me? And when I was able to identify, for one, everything that was toxic in my life that may have caused certain situations, that got ugly. When you start to realize like, okay, every situation, this could be me, this could be a part of something I've done, something I've said to someone, something I may be reaping back. That was a lot to stomach. But having that understanding, that gave me the strength to understand like, okay, I may have made someone else feel this way. So it kind of gave me that strength, like, okay, I can face this, I can keep going. And there's a lot of stuff that I'm going through like, okay, I never really did that to anybody, so why do I deserve this? Why am I going through this? Why am I still facing this? That's when I had to really get to the conclusion like, okay, I need to figure out the why. And that led me to the second point, is, for one, is understanding that there is a purpose for every bit of pain. And then two is identifying what that purpose is for that pain. The best example that came to me in that time was, imagine a woman going through some type of labor pain or some type of contraction. She's getting bigger, she's experiencing this pain, but never understanding that she's pregnant, never knowing that. How much confusion, how much frustration that she's feeling, in because she knows what's going on in her body, but she doesn't know that it's a product of a situation that's being birthed in her life. That's what stood out to me, is when I got that analogy, I'm like, boom, like, so many of us, we go through these trials and not understand that there is something that has to be birthed. There's something that has to be pushed out of me. There's something that needs to be established in me. And that's what helped me to keep going. When I realized like, okay, with this situation, this is getting the impatience out of me. With this situation, this is getting, the sense of I can do this all by myself out of me, or what need to be put in me, the patience, the love, the forgiveness for other people, and certain things like, okay, I've done something to somebody else and I expected them to forgive me, but am I giving the proper, forgiveness in return? Just certain situations like that, just understanding, like, with each situation, the why. And because we know that it is for a purpose, but trying to identify and pinpoint what type of hurt could be working in me, working something in me, and what type of hurt could be working something out of me. And when you understand that God isn't going to intentionally bring you through something to break you and you not learn. So many people use that coin term, like, I turn all my L's into lessons. And essentially that's it. Like, I don't care. I just got to the point, like, I don't care what I'm going through. I have to figure out how this can turn for my better. Because I refuse to let anybody, a certain situation, the enemy, break me. Like, I don't want to go through something and feel like that mindset, like, I know I want to get through this, but how? And I never want to give up because I just didn't know how. If I fail, I want to know, like, I failed because I failed and there's nothing I can do, and not that I didn't want to pursue and I didn't want to find the reason, for me failing in a sense. So with that situation, once I was able to identify, those reasons and point out, certain toxic behaviors or certain good characteristics about myself, I'm going to try to heighten those things. And that really just gave me a sense of peace in my mind, because there's certain days I couldn't sleep trying to figure out, what did I do? What did I say? Why is this way? And when I got that peace and understanding, whatever it is, if I don't know now, I'm still going to turn this into my better. I'm still going to make this something I can learn from. And when I was able to do that, I was able to kind of convey that to other people. And that's when I start opening up more. Because now I don't have to hide, that I'm feeling this broken. I don't have to hide that I'm feeling this frustrated, because whatever it is, hopefully this helps the next person too. So then once we're able to, one, identify and have an understanding that whatever pain I'm going through is for a purpose. Two, to identify what that specific purpose is. Next is, okay, now I need to start operating in things towards my purpose. Because a lot of times when I still wasn't vocalizing, what I may have been going through, I still felt broken. I still felt helpless. But a lot of times when I will relate to someone else, exactly what I'm going through, like, people come up to me and, say certain situations that they're going through, and I was just crying about that the night before. And when I'm able to give them that good advice, or, that encouragement, it encouraged me. So a lot of times it takes us doing what we're destined to do to allow that brokenness and that pain to not feel like it's for no reason, like it's for naught, like there's no benefit to what I'm facing. That really helped me. And once I was able to do that, I was able to get the proper encouragement from other people as well, because a lot of times it'll cause us to be shut off. And what scripture had really stood out to me was the story of when John the Baptist was beheaded. And when the disciple came back and told Jesus, saying, okay, hey, this is what happened to John the Baptist. Again, this is Jesus' cousin. He proceeded into telling of Jesus before Jesus came on the scene, announcing himself. He was the one announcing, there's somebody coming behind me whose shoes I'm not even worthy to strap on. This is that John the Baptist. So when I read that scripture, it said that once Jesus found out, he went into the wilderness to basically be by himself. And then the following verses, it says like, oh, and the multitudes followed him. And now in that situation, I'm thinking like this person's cousin, just how I am. Anime situation, I try to make it more realistic in my life and how it would be even relevant now. Like, okay, my cousin just died. I want to be by myself at this point, emotions flying. I'm sure he was hurt. And these people are following me. And not only that when they came, they all needed to be healed. So that stood out to me like, okay, that can be so many people now. Like, a lot of us go through these periods of brokenness, of hurt, and we want to be secluded. We want to be by ourselves. That was me. Like, I don't need to be around anybody. I can come straight home. I can sit in my room. I can turn on Netflix and watch it all day. I don't have to really respond to anybody. And when that stood out to me, it was like, okay, Jesus' cousin died. And when these people came, the scripture said he healed all of them that was hurting. And he made them perfectly whole. And I'm like, I really got the understanding, like, even in our broken moments, that there's still something that we can offer somebody, because there's somebody that may need it more than we do. There's somebody that can feel more broken than we feel at that moment. And that little bit of encouragement and that little bit of life and that little bit of healing that we have in us can really make all the bit of the difference for somebody else. So when I kind of read that and I took that for myself, because I would really have to understand, like, I can't offer anything to anybody. I'm too broken. I'm still going through. I can barely stop crying certain times. I can barely keep my emotions in check. And I really had the understanding, like, okay, no matter what I'm going through, there's somebody that could be worse off than me. So let me try to keep that mindset of encouragement to where I can always be readily available, to somebody or to that person. That helped me with understanding, like, this little bit of pain that I'm going through, it is beneficial to somebody else. It really can help them. So when I was able to do that and really operate in, taking those steps of healing and wholeness and trying to be better and trying to encourage other people to do better, that in turn helped me. Because then these people are looking at me like I just said the best thing since sliced bread. And I'm thinking, like, I needed that for myself. And now I'm able to take that same information and bring it back towards me. And then once you're able to do that, I feel like those three things, and you, again, like, this took time for me. Once I was able to really accomplish those three things, one, establishing, okay, there is a purpose for everything I'm going through. Two, identifying, okay, this is the reason. This is what I should be learning. This what should be leaving. This what I should be getting better at. And then three, okay, I need to be taking these steps. I need to be operating in whatever this purpose that I have. Me, I feel like it was encouraging people. To somebody else, it may be starting their business. It could be enrolling in a school. It could be taking that next step, forgiveness. It could be trusting in people. Whatever that next step for you is, that's what you need to take. That's that next step that you just need to, like, bird box challenge, close your eyes, jump in, and just do it. It may not seem as effective in the beginning, but once you create a habit of doing it, then it kind of gave me strength in those times that I felt myself crying less. I felt myself wanting to be secluded less. I felt myself feeling more happy, at times. I'm not as emotionally unstable, as I was. That really helped me. And just certain smaller tidbits that helped me get through, those things, to give me a better clarity in relaying this information, is that without purpose, there's no understanding for your pain. The scripture that stood out to me is that my people perish from a lack of knowledge. So many people can give up when there's no idea that there's a baby on the other side, that there's another job on the other side, that your promotion is coming through this opposition, that your healing is coming through this opposition, your happiness, your peace. When you don't know that that's on the other side, it'll, kind of stagnate you from taking that next step. So once I had got through those mindsets, I understand, like, okay, this is what I need to be doing on a regular basis. And I began to do those things. I, again, like I said, I started to feel better, but certain things I would still try to pray and get a better understanding of what it still needs more fine-tuned in my life, because now I've identified those toxic traits, and I'll see myself in a similar situation, and certain times I'll see myself behaving in that same negative way, and I'm like, okay, hold up, I don't need to be doing that. And then there's other times where I handle it well, and I'll see the good outcome that came that way, and now I'm like, I want to do that more, because this is a whole lot better for me than you know getting toxic and yelling and getting smart back with that person or whatever. I just didn't want to keep doing that, because I'm like, I don't want to keep going around the same mountain. I don't want to keep going through this same situation over and over and keep experiencing this hurt over and over. So once I understood, like, so many people can perish from this lack of knowledge and understanding, that's the information, like, this is why I want to keep telling people kind of what I've been through, my struggles, what helped me come out, because a lot of people just don't know, and when you don't know, you just don't know. My dad used to always say that. When you don't know, you just don't know. So then, even when you're in that place of not knowing, that's where the discouragement and the depression and the doubt in God, because there's a lot of things that came to us that a lot of us know that there's so much that we want to do. There's so many talents that we have inside of us, and there's, those steps and those dreams and goals that we have, in the forefront of our mind. But then we can start to doubt, like, well, I'm going through this. Does this mean you don't want me to do it, God? I'm going through this. Does this mean this isn't for me anymore? That's when we start to doubt God, because that doubt creates stagnation. And then the stagnation creates a repetitiveness of, okay, I'm not moving. Okay, God, you're not moving for me. And you think that, okay, God's not blessing you. Then you think that God's not with you anymore. Because that was me. I started to think, like, okay, I'm by myself. God, you're clearly not here with me. Like, this is me by myself. I'm carrying all this weight. And it was like, no, I'm here. It's your doubt that's making you believe that I'm not moving for you. Or it's the lack of knowledge that's making you not understand that you're still here, because this still needs to come out of you, or this I'm still trying to work in you. And for me, it was patience. So I understand, like, okay, even when I would learn things, I would think, like, okay, as soon as I learned it, the situation's going to be over. And it was like, no, this is still going to take time, because I'm still trying to work patience in you. And I'm like, oh, okay, then I can kind of keep doing this, because I know why, and I can kind of have an understanding of when I'm not as impatient of a person. So when I'm able to do that, a couple other things I had jotted down is when we as people go through some things that we think we don't deserve, or we know we don't deserve, a lot of times we can be in that mindset of defeat, because nothing bothers somebody more than getting unwarranted backlash, unwarranted criticism for something that I didn't deserve. So when you go through a life and think like, I didn't deserve this from this person, this person, this person, you already have a chip on your shoulder. And for me, it was like, okay, I stopped thinking what I deserve and what I shouldn't be getting, and I'm already thinking what already happened. How can I move on? How can I move forward? How can I not let it plague my mind, and my thought process? When I was able to do that, I kind of got the victim mentality out of my mind and got with the, okay, well, I'm going to do something about it mentality. Okay, well, if this is coming at me, I'm going to change this about me. Or I'm going to pray for this person that they can get over whatever it is that they're throwing at me. So that had helped me. And one thing that, the analogy that kind of stood out to me is, women that suffer through abuse, whether sexually, physically, verbally, a lot of times the frustration especially if you're sticking with the person, is I don't deserve this. Even though you stay, you do have that mindset like, okay, I know I've done stuff, to hurt this person, or maybe you haven't. It's like, I don't deserve this. But when you stick in the situation, it kind of creates a mindset of, especially if that person is telling you otherwise, you can kind of start believing you do deserve it, or you kind of start believing that there is nothing better, or that you can't get out of the situation, you're not strong enough. And it's like, when you talk back to the inner thoughts and the inner voice and what the other person is putting on you, you have an understanding like, okay, let me take back my strength, because now you're taking it. And now how you're beating me down, I'm feeling defeated. When I'm able to relate to myself into the situation, like, I'm not going to allow this situation to keep me a victim, in the sense of, yes, you're a victim, but I'm not going to stay down. In some way, shape, or form, I'm going to muster up whatever bit of strength is in me, because we all are strong. I'm going to muster up whatever bit of strength is in me and use that to take me to the next level. When I was able to do that, like, okay, I'm not going to let this keep me crying all day. I literally had to use mind, tricks into allow myself, okay, you're going to be able to cry about this for 5 minutes a day, and that's it. And then you let it go. Yes, there are certain times I knew I still felt more broken. I still want to yell it out to myself. I still want to yell it out to God and say everything that was in me to say or do. But when I did that, I got off enough that was on me, but I didn't let myself harp on it. So I began to take back the strength in my mind to exercise. I'm not going to let this plague my mind. I understand what happened. I can understand it's wrong. I can understand I don't deserve it. But what am I going to do to get me up out of this? That was my next step. And of course, it's so much easier said than done. Like, this stuff took repetition upon repetition and weeks upon weeks of me reciting, okay, this is it. Okay, this is it. Okay, time, wipe off the tears. Time to be a big girl. And now you're going to think about other things, which is one scripture that says about, think on those things that are lovely, that are pure, of good report. Then I start thinking on those things, like, okay, even when it comes back into my mind, I would think about it for a few minutes. Okay, let me bring my mind back to things that are, beneficial to my purpose, beneficial to where I want to be, beneficial to my future. When I begin to do that, that gave me, kind of that strength in my mind, because I'm exercising it, and I don't have to let my situation run my mind ragged all day. And I begin to see, like, less and less I think about this, less and less I cry about this, less and less I allow this to have me go through breakdowns or sessions in the car to where I just want to just scream. And when I was able to do that and get power over my mind, in a sense, that was the thing that really kind of broke and catapulted me out of the depression and that state I was in, because now I have my mind back. And I felt like now when I have my mind back, there's not too much you can say, or not too much you can do against somebody that should have been defeated and wasn't. Because now I know, like, I knew certain situations could have broke me, and I used every inkling of power, every bit of strength that I had for me to keep going. And now I have the understanding and the right mindset, a correct emotion set, and the proper tools for me to keep maneuvering and keep getting better. Oh, okay, I'm gonna keep doing this. So I just use what works for me. You can find those avenues that work for you, whether it's reciting a good devotional book, constant prayer, whether it's fasting, venting, counselors, those definitely help. Venting to people that have gone through what you've gone through, and that's going to give you stable and sound advice. Those are much needed. This is not something I did on my own. This was constant talks with my friends, my sisters, those people that I trust, that isn't going to put all your struggles, all your business out on the streets. Constantly talking with my parents, my pastors, certain people that I knew had my best interest at heart. Those people are definitely key. Again, this isn't something that I just mustered up on my own. This was constant, like, people praying for me and picking me up and telling me, like, okay, no, you got this. We not gonna let this break you. And you need so many people like that in your corner, because a lot of times when you don't know your purpose and when you don't know that there's so much inside of you, it's a lot of times those people that are around you that build you up and help you identify, okay, yes, this is who I am. Sometimes you do need to hear that. No, you are beautiful. No, you are strong. No, you will do this. No, you can accomplish this. When you have those people that are reciting that into you, as much as that negative stuff that's replaying in your mind, when you're able to do that and you have people in your corner, I feel like there's no stopping you. It's a time process though. Some people's happen in like a month. There's some people that go through situations like that, and they get it and they understand it. Some people take years. And that was me. Like, this has not been just a 1 year, 6 month struggle. This is something in myself that I knew over the past years, I can get better at this. Like, I can keep going with it. I can better myself in this area. But it took the brokenness in my life to pinpoint and really have me change and really have me do the deep diving and really, trying to understand the purpose and the plan, what it is I'm supposed to do, who I am in this world, who I can be to other people. People tell me all the time, like, but I never, really just registered it for myself until I had to associate my brokenness with this purpose. And that's when I'm starting to realize, when I'm going through stuff and what's coming out of me, yes, this is what people was telling me. Yeah, you do have the ability to encourage people, or to somebody that, can, start a business, or that person that wants to get in school. When you have those people that's been telling you something for a minute, but a lot of times it does take those broken moments to kind of bring you back into focus. So those are some of the situations that helped me. Again, that's just like a small topic of, kind of the broadness, which is people's pain, which people struggle in, people's purpose. I encourage you, if you don't know your purpose, really, spend time to figure that out, because that's something you need to know to associate with whatever you're going through. So you can read books. A lot of times it is associated on things you like, on your hobbies. Again, this can be secondary to your regular job. Whatever it is, if you don't know your purpose, I encourage you to find somebody that can speak into your life and that can encourage you and help you identify, not just tell you, but help you identify those things that are important to you, those things that you're passionate about, and that can help you relay that on paper and show, okay, I think this is what I'm put on this earth to do. So if there's something I said that stood out to you, if there's something I said that was encouraging to you, you can leave a discussion, in the bottom. If there's something that I missed out on that really helped you, leave that in the comments too. Because again, we just want to encourage each other in these situations of, what brought us out and what helped us to get through certain situations. Again, this is Charmaine. This is our first video on purpose in your pain. And I'll see you next video.